I received an order at my private detective agency to investigate Lin Feng's infidelity. While tracking Lin Feng, I discovered that he was cheating with my wife and Qing. Disheartened, I decided to accept the invitation from an overseas mercenary organization to join their detective camp. I have anonymously donated blood for Qing for 7 years. From now on, I won't have to be her blood bag anymore. Arriving at the address given by the client in the Huading Villa area, I found Lin Feng entangled with a woman. I took out my phone and started recording. In an intense moment, the woman half sat up, and it was the face of my wife and Qing. I instantly lost my balance and staggered. My colleague Xiao Lu also saw it and hesitantly said, "Gu, why don't you skip this case? Let someone else handle it." I shook my head, enduring the heartache. Providing good customer service is the standard in this line of work. Lin Feng was forcefully thrusting against Qing, his deep voice asking, "How does he compare to your husband?" Qing's voice trembled. "He can't compare to you. Lin Feng, you are the best." Qing gasped repeatedly. After a long time, they finally quieted down. Lin Feng played with her hand, looking at the wedding ring on her finger, and said, "Seeing your ring makes me uncomfortable." Qing smiled playfully, took off the ring, and threw it into the trash can. I thought they would break up soon, but immediately after one event, they rushed to the next. Qing turned the box upside down, but nothing came out. Lin Feng anxiously asked, "What should we do?" Qing casually replied, "It's fine. I'll take the morning after pill." My heart felt like it was struck by a heavy hammer, in intense pain. I once loved her as my life. I would rather suffocate myself than let her take risks. Yet she gave herself to another man without reservation. She has a blood disorder, and her menstrual flow is very heavy each time. Miscarriage or childbirth could cost her life. So I have always been careful in our intimate moments to avoid her getting pregnant. I would rather suffer myself than let her take risks. Every month she needs to donate blood twice, and because of her Rh blood type, it is difficult for her to find matching blood. I happen to have the same blood type. I go to donate blood twice a month, for 100 milliliters each time, specifically for her use. To ease her psychological burden, I have remained anonymous. I love someone as precious as a treasure, yet I can let other men treat themselves so poorly. While reminiscing, I received a message on my phone. "Huaiji, my best friend, needs the emergency contraceptive pill Yuding. Can you buy a box and deliver it to Huading Villa District?" The heartache spread throughout my body, and my hands involuntarily clenched tight. Sweat seeped out on my forehead and all over my body. "Xiao, Qing, what if your husband finds out about your affair?" After Lin Feng finished speaking, he eagerly awaited her answer. Even if I had affairs with 10 men and he discovered it, he still wouldn't bear to leave me. "Yes," I once said, "Qing, let's never be apart. I couldn't live without you." But at that time, Qing was also wholeheartedly in love with me. She is a powerful female CEO outside, but at home, she cooks for me. She makes the bed for me. When I had a fever once, she stayed up all night taking care of me. But times have changed. When I dropped Yuding off at the villa gate, Lin Feng came out to get the medicine. He looked at me with a teasing gaze. The woman inside is quite wild. As he spoke, his perfume wafted into my nostrils. I lowered my head, hiding my clenched fists, and hurriedly left. Anqing once said she would love me for a lifetime, never betraying me. I was also prepared to be her lifelong blood bag. She betrayed me, and my plans had to change. I opened my email and clicked accept on the invitation from the foreign mercenary organization. They need excellent scouts, and I need to leave this place of heartbreak. Departing in 5 days. Back home, I started drinking alone. 7 years of feelings, 3 years of marriage, a lifetime of plans resulted in this outcome. By the time Anqing got home, I was almost drunk. Seeing me drinking, she anxiously asked, "Huaiji, what's wrong? Did something unhappy happen?" When she got close to me, I could still smell the fragrance of Lin Feng's perfume on her. I felt waves of nausea, pushed her away, and ran to the bathroom. There was a moment of panic in her eyes. I started to vomit violently into the toilet. She closely followed behind me, gently patting my back. "Don't drink so much, it's bad for your stomach. Seeing you like this makes my heart ache." How could she switch from one man to another so quickly? "I'll go make you some hangover soup." By the time I came out, she had already prepared the hangover soup. I stirred it with a spoon, hoping it would cool down quickly. Sitting on the sofa, she fed me spoonful by spoonful. I stared at her fingers, which wore a ring very similar to a wedding ring. But when she reached out, there was a small character Lin on the palm side of the ring. Threw away the wedding ring and put on someone else's ring. That's fine. The pain of love is like peeling skin and pulling tendons. The more thoroughly it is pulled now, the less lingering heartache there will be after leaving. Her gaze at me was different from before, and she worriedly said, "Do you feel that I haven't been with you enough? The company has been busy lately, and I've neglected you. Tomorrow, I'll accompany you to pick out a suit. Our third wedding anniversary is coming up soon. We'll celebrate it properly then. She took a warm towel again, and pet my face. When I looked down, the collar was too loose, and I saw the dense kiss marks on her chest. He pulled her over, trying to tear her clothes. She quickly covered her mouth and said, G, you've drunk so much alcohol. That's not good for you. You need to rest more, okay? Be obedient." After a brief moment of panic, a gentle tone was immediately adopted. I just wanted to see how she hides the marks on her body, but she thought I was making advances. If it were before, her words would make me feel how considerate she was and how much she cared about me. But today, I know she just doesn't want me to find out about the kiss marks on her body. When she went to clean the bathroom, a message came in on the phone on the table. "You little wildcat, you drained me dry today." I didn't move, staring blankly at the phone screen as it went dark again. After cleaning the bathroom, she helped me onto the bed, gently helped me change into my pajamas, carefully tucked the blanket around me. She also took the clothes I changed out at the wash. By my side, she still plays the role of a good wife. If she participates in the Best Actress Awards, the gold medal belongs to her alone. The next day, in the custom suit shop, I was measuring my size when she received a call from Lin Feng. "Little wildcat, I want to eat you, come find me." She secretly looked at me, thinking I couldn't hear. But I used to be the best scout. My hearing is exceptional. My hand unconsciously tightened, and my body became tense and stiff. She approached, pretending to be casual and natural. But the blush on her face revealed her impatience. Ji, there are some matters at the company I need to attend to. You measure the dimensions and wait for me on the top floor of the Linjiang Tower restaurant. I've already ordered the food, and we'll eat together. I pulled her back. Can't you skip it? You said you would stay with me today. Although I decided to leave, seeing her go to accompany another man right in front of me still caused an unbearable heartache. She broke my hand apart. The company's matters are very important. I will be back as soon as possible. Wait for me. After saying that, she hugged my waist and quickly left. I waited in the restaurant from the sun slanting in the west. Waited until the lights came on. Waited until the whole city fell into darkness, but still did not wait for her. I made 5 phone calls. Each time it was unreachable. When she returned home, it was a little past 1 in the morning. Thinking I was asleep, she didn't call me and went straight to the guest room. I recalled the bits and pieces of the past 7 years, feeling completely sleepless. She has been on the phone in the guest room for a long time, her words teasing and ambiguous, undoubtedly with Lin Feng on the other end. When I got up in the morning, she had already made breakfast. There were soft-boiled eggs that I love to eat. She apologized and said, I was busy at the company yesterday and couldn't make it to the restaurant in time. You won't hold it against me, will you? Saying this, she kissed my forehead. I reached out to grab the fried egg, avoiding her kiss. She was a bit stunned. There was a fleeting sense of loss in her eyes. This mouth that has kissed other men makes me feel dirty when I think of it. Today my task is still to follow her. She went to the hospital for a blood transfusion, and the man holding her waist next to her is Lin Feng. I heard that the one who has been donating blood to you all these years is the same person? 800 milliliters every month. Who could that be? Lin Feng was puzzled. What an idiot. Who would be willing to draw so much blood every month? And Qing said disdainfully, if it weren't for loving her deeply, I really wouldn't be willing. The doctors all blame me for donating blood too frequently. But if I don't donate, she won't either. In the entire city, there are only 2 people whose blood type matches hers. The other person is in poor health and cannot donate blood at all. Lin Feng squeezed her under her clothes. You should thank him. What will you do if he doesn't donate? And Qing also pinched Lin Feng's, but don't jinx it. After a while, they came out of the blood transfusion room. And Qing's face was gloomy, clearly puzzled. How could he not donate? He hasn't missed a single time in the past 7 years. Once, during a heavy snowstorm, he still donated. There must be something going on this time. And Qing speculated. I was supposed to donate blood yesterday, planning to do it after finishing my suit fitting for her last donation. To have a beginning and an end. But she left me for another man, and I ultimately canceled the blood donation arrangement. The blood center also called me yesterday, but I didn't answer. Anqing made several phone calls, and I heard her inquiring about the names and numbers of the blood donors. I don't know what was said on the other end of the line, but her face still showed disappointment and worry. Lin Feng rubbed her nose and said, Don't worry, there must be a solution. They embraced and walked towards the car. They both got into the back seat. Through the car window, I saw Anqing leaning into Lin Feng's arms. After a while, the car started shaking violently. After a long time, or maybe not long, they came out. Anqing's hair was messy, her clothes wrinkled, clearly showing signs of having made love. I couldn't bear to look. Their affection is a double-edged sword to me. Looking down at my hands, gently touching the ring she personally put on my finger during our wedding. The vows of the past rush back into my mind. The promises that once moved me now make me feel utterly disgusted. Took off the ring and threw it into the trash ca. And when she looked up, they had already left. Back home, packing and organizing my things. Actually, not much. I'm a minimalist, but there are many gifts bought for her. There are also some shared memories that I have thrown into the trash. When she came back, I had just lain down to go to sleep. She walked towards me, bent down, and tried to hug me. The scent of another man's perfume came again, and I pushed her away. A momentary panic flashed in her eyes. Why? What's wrong with you? You seem very distant from me these past few days. She asked calmly, pretending to be composed, and looked around. Why are there so many fewer things at home? I hadn't figured out how to respond when her phone rang. She walked towards the balcony with her phone. When I'm at home, don't call me. I don't want our relationship to affect my feelings for YG. If you dare to tell him, you'll regret it. Okay, after our 3-year wedding anniversary, I'll take you out for a trip. Her deliberately lowered voice sounded so harsh to me. She seems to cherish the feelings I have for her. But to me, they are so unbearable. The 3rd anniversary is held on a cruise ship. I want to find an opportunity to tell her that I am leaving. Parting on good terms, with a beginning and an end, is my creed. Anqing seems to know nothing about my departure. She recklessly reminisces about our acquaintance and understanding. All our sweetness. When feelings run deep, she leans against me, as if our marriage could last 100 years. My reaction is no longer the enthusiasm of the past. Just dandanda. Her split between public and private makes me feel ironic. Her betrayal causes me immense pain. During the toast, Lin Feng is right by her side. She thinks I don't recognize him and introduces, YG, this is my assistant Lin Feng. Lin Feng is wearing the suit I had tailored for me last time, fitting well. I casually say, I've met him, delivered medicine. This outfit suits him very well. She suddenly freezes, then seems to understand instantly. Oh, he is my best friend's boyfriend. This outfit is for him first. I will have one made for you later. In the reflection of the glass on the door, I saw Lin Feng quietly pinching her waist. When Anqing went to the bathroom halfway through, Lin Feng pulled me to a secluded, open area. Gu Huaiji, it is said that your abilities are not that great, right? He looked at me with a provocative gaze. I can completely satisfy Anqing, but you can't, right? Just leave. Don't cling to her like an octopus. He took out his phone and showed me the video of them being affectionate. I've seen these long ago. I turned to leave, but found that a pillar was about to fall. Quickly dodging, I pushed aside Lin Feng, who was blocking my way. The scout's reaction to danger is always a bit quick. Lin Feng was hit on the leg by a pillar. Gu Huaiji, you damn it, you did this on purpose. Lin Feng cursed loudly. Anqing happened to come out and saw all of this. She coldly walked towards me and raised her hand to slap my face. Gu Huai, if you can't stand Lin Feng, there's no need to hurt her like this. I was filled with rage, raised my arm, but ultimately put it down. I don't hit women. Why can't I stand Lin Feng? You just introduced him to me today. Do you have some kind of relationship with him? I glared with bloodshot eyes at Anqing, my tone icy. Caring leads to chaos. She originally thought I didn't know their relationship, but saying this made it seem like she revealed it herself. Quickly covering up, my best friend entrusted him to me, and now he's injured his leg. How am I supposed to explain this to my friend? We need to take him to the hospital right away. It wasn't a serious injury, but he still had to be hospitalized. Anqing was running around busily. The hematologist saw her and came over. You asked the director for the phone number of the blood donor. He gave it to me. Here it is. He took out a piece of paper with a string of numbers, which was my number. I wondered, if Anqing knew that it was me who had donated blood to her all these years, would she regret slapping me just now? Would she regret her infidelity? I was curious to see what her reaction would be. I stared at her intently, as well as at that piece of paper. Anqing took the number and was about to look at it when Lin Feng exclaimed, and Anqing quickly placed the paper on the hospital bed. Lin Feng stretched his leg, and the paper fell to the ground. The path that has been walked on is covered with footprints. In a while, when the room was being cleaned, someone mistook it for waste paper and took it away. I didn't stay long and went straight home. The farewell I had prepared was no longer needed. The divorce agreement and their video USB drive were left on the living room table. The key was thrown inside the door. Taking one last look at the home I had lived in for 7 years, I closed the door heavily. I pulled my suitcase and rushed to the airport. Just as I entered the waiting hall, Anqing called. I didn't want to answer, but when I hung up, I accidentally touched the answer button. Anqing's voice came through, filled with tears. Huaiji, all these years, has it been you who donated blood for me? I didn't answer, and she continued, I really don't know. You were so nice to me. Where are you? I will find you. No need. I will let you go. My tone was indifferent. Let who go? She still pretended not to know. Anqing, do you still remember the vows we made when we got married? To love, to be honest, and to never deceive. I have done it. Have you? Do you know what it means to donate 800 milliliters of blood in a month? The do. Tor has repeatedly opposed my blood donation. He said that when I am 50, I might be older than others at 70. But I don't care. As long as you are healthy and safe, I would rather give up 20 years of my life. I can use my life to exchange for your health and longevity. You say your career is good enough, and I don't need to strive. But all these years, I've never spent your money. Although I don't earn much, I make hundreds of thousands a year. Most of it has been spent on buying you gifts. But this year, what have you bought for me? In the past year, you only ordered a custom suit, and that was given to someone else. But no matter how you treat me, I have never changed towards you. I have never deceived you. Think about how you have treated me. After holding these words in my heart for so many days, I finally spoke them out loud, feeling much more at ease. No, Huaiji, it was wrong of me to deceive you, but I have not cheated, and I promise I will never cheat in the future. I will love you well. I will also keep my distance from Lin Feng. Where are you exactly? The airport announcement came through, and Anqing paused for a moment. You are at the airport? Where are you going? Huaiji, please don't leave me. I heard hurried footsteps and breathing sounds. There was no answer, and the call was hung up. While checking the tickets, I saw Anqing's figure rushing towards me. One of her shoes ran away. Tears were also on her face. I turned my head and walked towards the boarding corridor. Her voice, broken, came from behind me. Huaiji, don't go. Huaiji, Huaiji. Anqing, you and the memories have been buried by me from now on. Good or bad, health or illness have nothing to do with me anymore. My detective agency has been transferred to my partner Zhou Chun. The divorce paperwork was also entrusted to Zhou Chun. I thought I would never see Anqing again from now on. No longer donating large amounts of blood every month. Plus the foundation of being a scout, my physical condition quickly recovered to about 80% of what it used to be. I had a smooth time in this organization. My excellent experience as a scout quickly made me stand out. I became the captain of the reconnaissance battalion. Many large international conferences were handled by our reconnaissance battalion for security issues. 2 years later, the top medical seminar on blood diseases was held in Los Angeles. In addition to top medical experts, some patients would also come. Our detective camp has taken on the security for this seminar. After coordinating the security personnel from various places and instructing the main medical experts to be protected, I stood in a corner with a good view, surveying the entire conference center. But I felt a gaze fixed on me. Wearing a helmet and mask, I was unrecognizable to most people, aside from asking others. To strengthen security, I didn't think much of it. When I finally met that gaze, I realized it was Anqing. After confirming it was me, she looked as if she had been struck by lightning, her expression exaggerated in disbelief. After a long while, she pushed past the people next to her and quickly ran towards me. When she reached me, she hugged me without hesitation. Huaiji, why are you here? I've been looking for you everywhere, but couldn't find you. I've searched all the places you've been. I've looked everywhere you mentioned. It's like you disappeared into thin air. I finally found you. She hugged me, crying and laughing at the same time. Excuse me, ma'am. Please do not disturb our work. I pretended not to know her, but she refused to let go, as if once she did, I would disappear again. You are my husband, Gu Huaiji. I am Anqing. We have been together for 7 years. How could you not recognize me? Saying this, she took out the marriage certificate. Look, this is you, this is me. She pointed at the photos on the marriage certificate to show me, and also showed it to passersby. I pulled her to a secluded place. Anqing, I have already fulfilled your relationship with Lin Feng. We have no connection anymore, so please don't disturb me. I stared at her and said seriously, Gu Huaiji, you are my husband. How could we have no connection? I looked at her in confusion. She put away the marriage certificate and once again clung to my arm. Now that I've found you, you must not run away again. I forcefully threw her off, and she fell to the ground. In an instant, her eyes filled with tears. Why? You didn't mean it, right? I don't believe you could be so cold to me. Once you loved me so much. The blood you gave for me is equivalent to having changed all the blood in your body many times over. How could a woman who loves with her life not love? Backslash. She chattered. How could you not love? How could you not love? She stood up by herself. If it were in the past, seeing her fall, I would have wanted to cushion her fall, not letting her get hurt at all. But now, seeing her fall to the ground, my heart feels nothing. It turns out that not loving someone means not caring at all whether they are hurt or in pain. I looked down at her, my gaze extremely cold. I just don't love you anymore. When you betrayed me, I stopped loving you. From now on, we are strangers. I hope you won't cling to me. But she seemed to be greatly shocked. No, Huaiji, you are my husband. We promised to be together for a lifetime, and no one can back out midway. There are still people looking this way. She, who used to care so much about her image, now no longer cares about it all. The dirt that stuck to her after falling to the ground made her look like a beggar. Her face was waxy yellow, and her spirit was no longer what it used to be. As suddenly remembering something, she asked, Huaiji, are you unwilling to reconcile with me because you're afraid of donating blood to me again? You don't have to donate. I found 5 people across the country who can donate blood for me, and I get transfusions every month. As long as you come back, that's enough. You don't have to do anything. Seeing that I was unmoved, she climbed up to me again and reached out to touch my neck. I took a step back and swatted her hand away. Don't touch me with your dirty hands. It makes me sick just to see it. She looked disappointed for a moment. Huaiji, I'm sorry, I apologize to you. But I've broken up with Lin Feng. From now on, I will only love you. Seeing that I was still unmoved, she took out an eyebrow razor from her bag. Huaiji, you said dirty things, so I'll help you clean it up. She started to cut at her hand, instantly turning it into a bloody mess. With tears on her face and a smile at the corners of her mouth, she looked up at me and asked, I peeled the skin off my hands. Can you forgive me? I shouted into the intercom. There's someone attempting suicide here. Please send someone to take her to the hospital. After watching her being taken away, I let out a long sigh of relief. That night, I called Zhou Chun. I asked why he hadn't divorced her. Zhou Chun smiled bitterly and said, I always thought Qing was generous and graceful. You don't know how crazy she gets when divorce is mentioned. She refuses to listen to anything. Even to find out where you went, she blocked me every day for a while. Later, when she couldn't get any answers, she posted a missing person notice online, offering a reward of 1 million for accurate information. I see she's very infatuated with you. Can't you forgive her? Zhou Chun was also moved by her. But for me, once unfaithful, forever unusable. Since she betrayed me, there's no possibility of accepting her again. Zhou Chun, you know me. I haven't contacted you in the past 2 years because I was afraid you would give her my contact information. In relationships, the more you give, the deeper the hurt when you are wounded. In an unclean relationship, I would rather be single for a lifetime. I thought that after sending her to the hospital, she would not come back again. To my surprise, she arrived even earlier than I did the next day. When she saw me, her eyes were full of excitement, with a hint of expectation. As she ran towards me, her hands were wrapped in bandages. She came rushing into my arms, as if we were still in love. I dodged, and she fell to the ground. As if nothing had happened yesterday, or in the past 2 years, she pouted and said to me, Huaiji, help me up. She reached out her bandaged hand to me. Without even looking, I was arranging security around the venue. She got up and followed me closely behind. When I ped, she walked towards me again, wanting to pull me. I shook her off, but she wouldn't let go. Then I heard another voice. Gu Huaiji, why are you still entangled with Qing? When will you stop? It was Lin Feng's voice. Although I didn't listen for long, I couldn't forget it. It is this voice that has shattered all my beautiful hopes and expectations. Lin Feng came in front of Qing, and his tone, which was filled with disgust towards me, immediately turned gentle and smiled. Xiao Qing, I heard you came to Luo City, so I hurried over by plane. It's not safe for you to run such a long way alone. I should accompany you. And Qing, however, did not give him a good face. Get lost, I don't want to see you. I've already said not to entangle me. Why can't you give up? Lin Feng blamed all of this on me. Gu Huaiji, it must be you who said something to Xiao Qing. That's why she has such a bad attitude towards me. I tell you, if you dare to entangle Xiao Qing again, I will break your legs. Just as he was about to come forward to hit me, he saw Qing turn around and slap his face with her unbandaged hand, giving him 2 loud slaps. Dare to hit Gu Huaiji? Who do you think you are? You dare to touch my man? Lin Feng covered his face in confusion. Xiao Qing, why did you hit me? How could you hit me? I am Lin Feng, the Lin Feng you love. And Qing sneered coldly. I'm talking about you, Lin Feng. Not the Lin Feng I love. The only man I love is Gu Huaiji. What are you? Didn't you say that Gu Huaiji can't satisfy you, and only I can satisfy you? Didn't you say you love me? Lin Feng questioned in Qing with bloodshot eyes. Lin Feng's words made in Qing very flustered. She quickly looked at me and said, Huaiji, don't listen to Lin Feng's nonsense. I have never said these things. In this life, I have never loved another man, only you. I took a wrong turn before, and I hope you can forgive me. I clenched my hands tightly, holding back. If it weren't for the security policy, I would have knocked him down long ago. Seeing no reaction from me, and Qing's tone softened a bit. It's okay if you don't forgive me. We can start over. I'm even willing to court you all over again. Lin Feng grabbed in Qing's arm. What should I do if you pursue him again? I broke up with my original girlfriend for you. And Qing wanted to shake him off, but unfortunately, she didn't have enough strength and couldn't get free. What you do has nothing to do with me. Don't bother me and Huaiji. Just get lost. After saying that, and Qing kicked Gu Huaiji in the middle. Gu Huaiji bent down in pain. While I was patrolling security, Lin Feng picked up a stone from the decorative garden and threw it at me. I dodged suddenly. The stone hit a passing attendee squarely on the head. As a security personnel, although I couldn't provoke actively for the safety of the attendees, I still kicked Lin Feng in the stomach. The force was at the level of a reconnaissance soldiers competition. Lin Feng rolled on the ground a few times before stopping. His face was pale, and beads of sweat were oozing from his forehead. The person who was hit immediately called the police. When the police arrived, Lin Feng pleaded with Qing. Xiao Qing, please save me. Save me. And Qing spat at him. If it weren't for your deliberate seduction, I wouldn't have ended up in this situation with Huaiji. Save you? It would be better if you died. Lin Feng saw that Qing was not helping him at all, his face full of despair. Qing, Gu Huaiji does not love you in this world. Only I love you the most. The way you treat me now, Gu Huaiji will treat you the same way. In the struggle, Lin Feng was taken away in handcuffs. Only Qing was left, making a fuss. She followed behind me, constantly recounting our warm past. Do you remember when we had just known each other for a month? I fainted from anemia, and you stayed awake for 3 days and nights, taking care of me without rest. At that time, I had already decided to be with you for a lifetime. On our trip to Mount Tai, the words I wrote on the wish tree's incense pouch were wishing you a life of peace and happiness. Do you know? The wedding ring you put on me, I lost it, and later, I rummaged through a lot of garbage before finding it. Look at this. She stretched out her hand, and the ring on her finger was indeed the one I gave her. You still care about me. You want to see me, want to see the ring you personally put on my finger. You said you wanted to keep me for a lifetime. Can we not separate in the future? I just glanced unintentionally. If you are not willing to go back with me, I can follow you. Wherever you go, I will go. Lin Feng has been taken away, and no one will obstruct us anymore. We will get along well and love each other. You have donated blood to me so many times. Your blood remains in my body, and nothing can sever our blood relationship. She searched for every reason to try to rekindle our past relationship. I was just surveying the venue and the surroundings, completely ignoring her. Guing, the trucks we are leaving with are all arranged after the meeting this afternoon. Guing, we expect to arrive at the Brazilian jungle training camp by 8 p.m. My subordinate reported to me. Are you going to the jungle training? And Qing asked tremulously. The subordinate glanced at me, then looked at her. We have been stationed in the jungle, only coming out to take on missions. Then what should I do? And Qing mumbled. I have to get a blood transfusion every month, and I can't do that in the jungle. No, I will follow you into the jungle. If I can't get a transfusion, I can still live for a year and a half. If I don't have you, what's the point of living longer? It seems she had made up her mind, talking to herself. I couldn't drive her away, nor could I hit her. I could only ignore her as she babbled on. Fortunately, the meeting ended at 3 o'clock. At 3:30, we were all set to go. She stared at me nervously, afraid that I would disappear if she wasn't paying attention. After all the team members jumped onto the truck, I jumped up too. She followed me, trying to climb up by holding onto the edge of the truck. I pulled her hand away and pushed her to the back of the truck. She quickly got up, shouting, Huaiji, don't leave me behind. She ran back to the truck again, grabbing onto the edge. Huaiji, wherever you go, take me with you. I can't live without you. I tried hard to pull her hand away. The bandaged hand was already soaked with bright red blood. The one without the bandage, because she was forcefully clinging to the car, her veins bulging and fingertips turning white. On her face, there was a resolute despair. No matter how hard I tried, she just wouldn't let go. The car slowly started moving. Despite my obstruction, she never managed to get on. As the car sped up, she clung to it with both hands, her steps quickening as well. After much struggle, her hair was already a mess. The speed of the car increased, and her steps could no longer keep up, her feet being dragged along. A subordinate asked, "Guing, what should we do?" I slowly replied, "Drive normally." Before long, one of her shoes fell off. Then the other. Finally, unable to keep up, she was thrown to the ground by the speeding car. Her face was scraped by the gravel, covered in blood. She opened her mouth and screamed, "Gu Huaiji." The distance between the car and her grew larger. Her voice became fainter, and her figure lying on the ground became more and more blurred. In the past, I couldn't bear to see her suffer like this. Now, her suffering is what I have given her, and I feel no pain at all. It's like treating a stranger, no, even less than a stranger. So what is she? Later, I thought about it and felt it was a disgusting lump. A few days later, Zhou called me. He told me that Qing was crying and laughing, and her mental state was problematic. He said he wasn't sure if there were other harms in Los Angeles. Only her money and jewelry were robbed clean. Later, she fell to begging in Los Angeles. Then, it is unknown what happened, and she was deported back to her country. Now she has been sent to a mental hospital. A few acquaintances have visited her. She shouted at a person / Lin Feng, "It's all your fault. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost / That person didn't look like Lin Feng. He just had the same hairstyle as Lin Feng. But to some people, she spoke gently. "Why, you're here. I knew you still loved me. You came to see me." She stretched out her hand. "Will you take me away?" She has a diary that she holds close to her heart every day, like a treasure. Some say that in the diary, one entry is a confession to me, and the next is a longing for me. A cycle repeats. Meanwhile, her company is in a state of almost no management. All the executives in the company want to take the opportunity to claim the company for themselves. The middle management is all thinking about how to benefit themselves. On the brink of bankruptcy. Huaiji, your marriage has never been dissolved, and you have half of the company. You can come back to manage it. Zhou advised me. "I won't go back. I'm doing just fine here." I declined lightly. "Aren't you tempted? This company is worth several hundred million." I remained unmoved. Whether it's a lot of money or a little, I don't care. But I don't want to be involved with anything related to her. What's a few hundred million? Money can't buy my feelings, nor can it take away my sincerity. Whether Qing is doing well or not, whether her company is well managed or bankrupt, has nothing to do with me anymore. A year later, there was a trending headline online. The title was, "Billionaire Female Tycoon Jumps to Her Death from a Psychiatric Hospital." The photos from the scene were too horrific to look at. But with the notebook that fell from the building, it was filled with the name Gu Huaiji. Everyone is curious about who Gu Huaiji is. In the mental hospital, all the windows are sealed. It's impossible to jump out. Only on the top floor, there's a window that opens upwards. Usually they're locked. The key is in the logistics office. Comment section says, "She must have woken up. If she had been mentally unstable all along, she wouldn't have found this key at all." Perhaps thinking of the person in the diary, she could no longer bear the pain of not having or losing, and thus jumped down. With so much money, what is there to be unhappy about? Life is precious. Is love really that important? What does this have to do with me? I'm still training in the jungle. I continue to take on various missions from